Taylor, Elvis?
Annex, is that Mr. Taylor?
Yes, sir.
We're ready, Judge.
All right, go ahead.
In cause number 2021-0D02596, State of Texas versus Frederick Elvis Taylor. Announcement on council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
Veronica Lermont for Mr. Taylor, Your Honor. We are ready to proceed.
All right. For the record, I am seeing an individual at the annex. Would you please state your name for the record?
Frederick Taylor Alvis Jr.
All right. And Mr. Taylor, would you go ahead and raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead and lower your hand. Let me go ahead and for the record, if you would tell me your date of birth, please.
05-09-01, 2001.
All right. Mr. Taylor, are you a US citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Taylor, I'm showing that you are charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. It is a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for a term of not more than 20 years or less than 2 years and a fine not to exceed $10,000. Is that the understanding of the charge against you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you understand you currently have a right to remain silent, a right to trial by jury, a right to counsel, a right to confront or cross-examine witnesses, and a right to call witnesses on your behalf or in your defense?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Lerma, have you had more than 10 days to prepare for the defense in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
All right. And Mr. Taylor, I'm showing, I have been given what's been marked as State's Exhibit 1, which are the plea papers in this case. Did you sign these papers?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And did you read and understand the papers?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Lerma, did you explain the plea papers to your client, and do you believe he has understood the admonishments, the rights, and the consequence of giving up these rights by entering a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, I did explain them and he does understand.
All right. Mr. Taylor, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And Ms. Lerma, do you have any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
Mr. Taylor, have you ever been found incompetent by any court or ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has ever found you mentally ill?
No, ma'am.
Based on your testimony, your attorney's representation, and my observation, the court finds that you are competent to enter this plea. You have previously stated you are a U.S. citizen. While I believe you, I need to let you know that if you are not a citizen of the United States, a plea of guilty and a finding of guilt may result in deportation, the exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now that we have established your citizenship, let me go ahead and ask you to the charge against you. What is your plea?
Guilty.
Let me make sure I heard that clearly.
Guilty.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Are you making this plea freely and voluntarily?
Say it again, ma'am.
Are you making this plea freely and voluntarily? Is this of your own decision to make this plea?
My own decision.
Okay, and no one's forcing you.
No, ma'am.
All right. With that being said, Ms. King, please summarize the evidence.
Yes, Your Honor. Were the state to proceed to trial on the indictment, the state would have proven each and every element the offense charged, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon beyond a reasonable doubt. Judge, the defendant is pleading to 4 years of deferred adult probation and no contact with the complaining witness, and the remaining standard terms and conditions on the plea paperwork. And at this time, the state moves to admit Exhibit 1 as the state's plea paperwork, Exhibit 2, Article 3914 disclosure, and Exhibit 3 as the indictment.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Those documents will be admitted then. And you have already stated the plea agreement. Ms. Lerma, were you able to review portal and all documents tendered to you?
Yes, Judge, I was.
All right. And Mr. Taylor, is this your understanding of the plea agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I understand that the plea agreement is not binding on this court. However, should I reject it, I would permit you to withdraw your plea of guilty. If the court follows the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. There are the appeal rights explained in the trial court's certification of your right to appeal, the original of which is signed by you, your lawyer, and by me, and a copy of which will be provided to you at a later date. All right. Based on your plea of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your plea and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. However, it is my understanding that you have filed for a motion for deferred adjudication. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you signed the form asking for deferred adjudication?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Lerma, have you explained to your client the benefits and detriments of deferred adjudication?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
And Mr. Taylor, do you understand that if you violate a condition of deferred adjudication, this court can proceed to sentence you up to the full range of punishment for this offense in the Institutional Division, Texas Department of Criminal Justice?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And are you still asking this court to grant you deferred adjudication?
Yes, ma'am.
I find there is sufficient evidence to substantiate a finding of guilt. However, I will not enter a finding of guilt at this time. Instead, I will defer further proceedings and place you on community supervision for a period of 4 years. During the 4 years, there will be a $4,000 fine, as well as 200 hours of community service, as well as a TAP evaluation, UABA, curfew, court costs, anger management classes, no contact with the complaining witness, and anything else the court deems appropriate. Also, it is my understanding there will not be a deadly weapon finding. Is that correct?
Yes,
That is
ma'am.
correct, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
All right, and understand that if you successfully complete your probation, you may petition the court for an order of non-disclosure. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. With that being said, your sentence will commence this day and you'll be given credit for any time you may have spent in jail on these charges. Is there a victim impact statement?
No, Your Honor, there's not.
All right. Is there anything else from the state or from the defense?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Have I complied with the agreement between both parties?
Yes, Judge.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Taylor, this concludes this hearing. You will be seeing a court services officer who will fingerprint you, give you reporting instructions, and give you copies of some of the documents that you will need. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck, Mr. Cortez. I hope Judge Perez doesn't have to see you again, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, take care.
Yes, ma'am.
We are adjourned.
Thank you, Judge. Am I excused?
You are excused, Ms. Lerma. Thank you so
Thank
much. Mr. Marufo, who's next?
And next, can we have Mr. Marcos Eleazar Avila?
Okay.
Avila?
Ms. Nieto, where is going Avila's? Is it going to be emailed to me or is it on portal? I mean, not portal, Odyssey.
Avila's are already in Odyssey.
Okay, I'm trying to find them. I just found them. Are they only in 2463?
Yes, ma'am. My understanding is the other case is being dismissed.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nieto. All right, whenever you're ready, Mr. Marufo.
In cause number 2021-0D02463, State of Texas versus Marcos Eleazar Avila. Announcement of counsel, please.
Rawa King for the state of Texas.
Who is defense counsel?
Mr. Roberto Sanchez.
Mr. Sanchez, Roberto Sanchez, please unmute and turn on your camera, please. Mr. Roberto Sanchez, please unmute and turn on your camera. Going once, going twice, Mr. Sanchez. All right, Mr. Marufo, let me go ahead and have Mr. Avila have a seat. His attorney is not near his camera right now. Mr. Avila, go ahead and have a seat. Mr. Marufo, who can we take care of next?
Mr. Gallardo, Fabian.
Can I have Mr. Gallardo up to the camera?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Nieto, is this on Odyssey or email?
Neither so far, Your Honor. I've never received any of the plea papers for Gallardo.
Yeah, Judge Eric Meza here, if I may.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and call the case then. Hold on.
Absolutely.
All right, Mr. Marufo, go ahead and if you'll call the case.
Yes, ma'am. In cause number 2021-0D01564 and 2021-0D01343, State of Texas versus Fabian Gallardo Jr. Announcement on council, please.
Mr. Martinez, ready for the state of Texas on all cases.
Eric Meza for the defense judge, and we're ready to proceed as well. I do see my client.
All right. I'm not going to swear him in because at this moment I actually need some clarification. What are we doing, Mr. I want to say Martinez. I'm so sorry. Eric Mesa. I'm
No
sorry.
relation.
Starts with an M. It starts with an M, so you were close.
Sorry, Mr. Mesa. It's been 2 long years. It's been 2 long years since I've
My
seen you.
apologies, Judge. The
Right.
issue today is we did receive the plea papers. I spoke with my client yesterday. It was kind of, I guess, a deal that kind of came together at the very end. And my client asked for a little bit of time to consult and speak to his family, and that was yesterday. And so I did try talking to his mom today to see if maybe we did have an agreement, and I was unable to contact her. And so I do believe there may be an agreement, but we have not signed the plea papers yet, and that's the reason why.
Okay. Do you, well, let me go ahead and just ask, Mr. Gallardo, you have spoken to your attorney?
Yes, I don't agree with the agreement. I still want to proceed to trial.
All right. All right, Mr. Mesa.
Understood.
Let me go ahead. Ms. Hernandez is here. So I guess we will go ahead and proceed. Today was the final hearing plea deadline. So I guess we will keep proceeding with your, let me check what your next settings are. You have, why am I showing another plea deadline on 5/10?
Your Honor, because this defendant is playing games, it's very obvious now. We had a hearing last week. We were set for trial. I asked for a counter. He gave me a counter at that time. Defense counsel indicated that he would take it. And so that's why I sent the plea papers. I didn't just send them to send them.
Oh, Ms. Martinez, I would not have.
So
thought
I don't
that.
want the court to think that we're wasting the court's time.
No,
And
That-
so there will be no pleas. We are going to trial and we'll proceed from there.
All right. I just want to get on the record what the next hearing is, which I believe is going to be the May 10th, 2022. Ms. Hernandez, do you want to go ahead and verify that?
Yes, Judge, it will be. Judge Perez gave me a motion to continue that should be filed if he didn't take the plea.
Okay, Mr. Mesa, you filed that already?
I'll check right now, and if we have now, we'll get it filed. And I just wanted to put on the record what the offer was, Judge, and that he did officially decline it.
Okay, go ahead.
The offer is 2 years TDC to both cause numbers.
And for purposes of the record, Judge, I believe my client did decline that offer, okay?
All right. It is formally declined. And then you need to file your motion for continuance from today's hearing, and you'll proceed to May 10th, 2022. Okay?
Understood, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Annex, you can have Ms. Gallardo take a seat. Mr. Gallardo, take a seat. Ms. Martinez, if you are done, you are free to go. And Mr.
Thank you.
Mesa, if you are done, you are free to go.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let us see, Mr. Roberto Sanchez, have you returned to the camera area? Mr. Roberto Sanchez.
Also try calling his office, no answer, Judge.
All right. I'm gonna holler one more time just because I like to holler. Mr. Roberto Sanchez. All right, let us go ahead. Mr. Yanez seems to be there as well as Mr. Flores. Let's see what they have and we'll come back to Mr. Sanchez later.
I'm here, Judge.
Good afternoon, Mr. Yanez. How are you?
I'm doing great, Your Honor. How are you?
Good, good. Tell me who you have, or let me see if I can find who you have. Wait.
Santana, Your Honor.
You didn't give me a chance, Mr. You have Saul Santana, 2016 0D0317. I'm showing you're set for a status today, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. So we were here, I believe.
Let me go ahead and officially call the case. Mr. Marufo, if you will, please.
Yes, Judge, in cause number 2016 0D0313, State of Texas versus Saul Santana. Announcement on council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
And Luis Yanez on behalf of Mr. Santana.
All right. Just for the record, I see an individual at the camera at the annex. Would you please state your name for the record?
Saul Santana.
All right, Mr. Santana, thank you so much. Let me go ahead and see what we're doing here today. I'm showing it as a status hearing. Mr. Yanez, thank you for your patience. Go ahead and let me know what we're doing.
We were here a couple weeks ago. Mr. Santana had asked me to withdraw. Judge Perez denied that request, Your Honor. And he mentioned he might be getting new counsel, hiring new counsel. And that's why the judge set this hearing, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Santana, have you hired new counsel?
No, Your Honor.
All right. We're going to go ahead and proceed then. Let me see at the settings that we have. Give me a second. I'm showing our next hearing. Actually, Myrna, do you have a next setting yet?
Judge Perez asked that if he didn't have an attorney, if he didn't hire a new attorney, to keep Mr. Yanez and reset it for 2 weeks.
Okay, so
Okay.
we'll go ahead and set it for 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm saying we're proceeding. We're not gonna wait any longer. Mr. Yanez, the previous motion to withdraw it was denied. Mr. Santana has not hired counsel, so for right now, you're going to remain on the case.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll be getting you a setting for 2 weeks, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yanez. Mr. Santana, we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Your attorney is going to be Mr. Yanez, okay? All right, take care. Good luck.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you may, Mr. Yanez. Thank you for your patience. I did see that you were there actually before some of the other cases, so thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Roberto Sanchez.
Judge, how you doing?
I wish I had a dime for every time I was saying your name.
I apologize for that, Judge.
All right, let me find your client.
No, he doesn't wait, Your Honor.
Sorry, Annex, say it again.
Mr. Avila,
Uh-huh,
His way, Your Honor.
that's his client, right?
yes. All right, Mr. Marufo, whenever you're ready.
Yes, Judge. In cause number 2021 0D02463 and 2020 0D01367, State of Texas versus Marcos Eleazar Avila. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
It's Roberto Sanchez on behalf of Mr. Avila, ready to proceed, Judge.
All right, and for the record, I am seeing someone at the annex. Would you please state your name for the record?
Marcos Eleazar Avila.
Okay, Mr. Avila, is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead and please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may lower your hand. Mr. Avila, go ahead and let me know what your date of birth is and whether or not you are a U.S. citizen.
September 19th, 1985, non-U.S. citizen.
All right. Mr. Avila, I'm showing that you're charged with manufacturing delivery of a controlled substance, penalty group 1. over 4 grams, under 200 grams. I'm going to ask for clarification from the state. Is this a first-degree felony or a second degree? They are both marked on the plea papers.
Your Honor, it's going to be first degree.
Okay. Did you notice that somebody marked on the second-degree felony?
Give me 1 second, Your Honor. I'm just pulling.
That's fine. Let me just go ahead and continue while you look that up, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Avila, as I stated, you're charged with that manufacturing, delivery, controlled substance penalty group 1, over 4, under 200 grams. It is a first-degree felony with a range of punishment in confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for life or a term of not more than 99 years or less than 5 years, and a fine not to exceed $10,000. Is that your understanding of the charge against you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you understand that you have a right to remain silent, a right to trial by jury, a right to counsel, a right to confront or cross-examine witnesses, and a right to call witnesses on your behalf or in your defense?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Sanchez, have you had more than 10 days to prepare your defense in this case?
Yes, Judge, I have.
All right. And Mr. Avila, I've been given what's been marked as State's Exhibit 1, which are plea papers in this cause number. Did you sign these papers?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And did you read and understand the plea papers?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Mr. Sanchez, did you explain the plea papers to your client, and do you believe he has understood the admonishments, the rights, and the consequence of giving up these rights by entering a plea in this case?
Yes, Judge, I have.
Mr. Avila, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And Mr. Sanchez, do you have any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter this plea?
Judge, I have no reason to believe, Judge.
Mr. Avila, have you ever been found incompetent by any court or been examined by a doctor? Been examined by a doctor, psychiatrist who has ever found you mentally ill?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Your Honor, I believe there was I missed the lesser included to indicate it on the plea paperwork, since the
Okay.
first degrees required minimum 5 years.
Okay. So are you saying that you are reducing this case to a second degree offense? Is that what you're doing, Ms. King?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Avila, you were originally charged with a first degree, but the state is reducing it to a second degree offense. Okay. So whoever check marked it off on the plea papers was correct. It is going to be a second degree with a punishment between 2 to 20 and a fine not to exceed $10,000. Okay. Are you understanding that, Mr. Avila?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you okay with what I am telling you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So based on your testimony, your attorney's representation, and my observation, the court finds that you are competent to enter this plea. You have previously stated you are a U.S. citizen, and while I do believe you, I need you to understand that if you are not a citizen of the United States, a plea of guilty and a finding of guilt may result in deportation, the exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Based on finding you competent and based on determining your U.S. citizenship to the charge against you, the second degree lesser, what is your plea?
Be 4 years, right?
Yes, 4 years. But what is your plea?
Guilty.
All right. And are you making this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. King, please summarize the evidence.
Yes, Your Honor. Were the state to proceed to trial on the indictment, the state would have proven each and every element the offense charged of manufacturing or delivery of controlled substance in penalty group 1 between 4 grams but less than 200 grams beyond a reasonable doubt. The judge, the defendant, is pleading to a lesser included offense of second degree to 4 years of confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Correctional Institution. And further, the state will dismiss cause number 2020-0D01367. And at this time, the state moves to admit Exhibit 1 as the state's plea paperwork, Exhibit 2, Article 3914 disclosure, and Exhibit 3 as the indictment.
Okay. Ms. King, you've already stated the plea agreement. Mr. Avila, is this your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Sanchez, is this your understanding of the plea agreement?
Judge, it is, and I have no objection to it.
All right, no objection to the documents are so admitted. Let me just triple check. Have you had, Mr. Sanchez, have you had a chance to review portal and all documents tendered to you?
Yes, Judge, I have.
All right. Mr. Avila, understand that the plea agreement is not binding on this court. However, should I reject it, I would permit you to withdraw your plea of guilty. If the court follows the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. These are the appeal rights explained in the trial court's certification of your right to appeal. The original of which was signed by you, your lawyer, and a copy, and by me, and a copy will be provided to you on a later date. Based on your plea of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your plea and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. At this point, I find you guilty of the lesser manufacturing delivery of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, the second degree. I assess your punishment at 4 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. There is no fine, but there will be a dismissal of count number 2020-0D01367. Your sentence will commence this day and you will be given credit for any time you may have spent in jail on these charges. It is a drug offense. I am going to assume there is no victim impact statement, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. Is there anything else from the state or from the defense?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
No, Judge, nothing further.
Have I followed the agreement as in the minds of both parties?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Okay, Mr. Avila, in a few seconds, you'll be seeing the court services officers. They will fingerprint you and give you some of the paperwork that you will need as you continue your journey. Okay, Mr. Avila, good luck to you. I hope this is the last time you'll be in the criminal justice system, okay? Good luck, Mr. Avila.
Judge, do we have no more pleas
Okay,
for hearings for this afternoon?
okay, who do you have?
The rest have been reset or canceled by the judge.
Okay, so who is it?
Can I stop live stream, Judge?